What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line, through all its flaws, scaling, occasionally the prices, the part choices, is the undisputed king in terms of constantly providing new product information. You don't have to wait months and months to get some new heads up on figures coming. It's a weekly occurrence, and that's kind of exciting. Where, for those of us action figure collectors with our short attention spans and our, oh great, you know this figure is coming, you guys mentioned that months ago, when's it coming out, what's next? McFarlane Toys never ever sets up a scenario where it's, hey, it's been a whole quarter since we've heard any peep out of this DC Multiverse line. It's a constant flow of pictures, then the pre-orders, and then all over again. So it's really cool. And, the Page Punchers line just went up for pre-order today. I think Saturday we saw those reveals. I love the quick turnaround on that. It's not a thing of waiting endlessly after we see the pictures, the first promo pics. We don't have to wait a long time before we see the full turnarounds. The whole deal is here you go. So, there's the Immortan Joe tribute Superman, the Val Zod, looks pretty cool, the Ghost of General Zod, and the Brainiac drone that I am going to probably army build a pretty decent amount of, assuming they go down in price. Right now they're $25, so not a ridiculous price point, but for army building purposes, I like to be able to get them a lot cheaper. Anyway, so we got those. I have the links in on the dashboard, and I'll put them on this video too, so you can grab them if you want them. But that wasn't the biggest DC Multiverse news of the day. Courtesy of Bro Depot, we have a whole new leaked list of upcoming McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures. And as always with this line, there's some good, there's some bad, maybe a little bit of ugly, but the good in this case is phenomenal. I am so excited about some of these potential figures that we're going to see coming. Again, you got to put that asterisk there of, hey, these may not be coming. Just a disclaimer. These might not come out, but the track record for leaked list of McFarlane Toys, the Marvel Legends, has been pretty good, and I don't see any reason why that won't be the case with these. Excuse me. Let's take a look at some of these offerings, and I am very excited right away. I mean, it's not an endless onslaught of Batman. All right, there's a lot of Batman figures, but he's done what I think a lot of us wanted. Hey, Todd, expand, do more figures, and you'll see from this lineup with these list of upcoming figures. He's really taking that to heart. We got some Silver Age characters. We got some Modern Age characters. We've got some Bronze, Modern Age characters. And it's like, yes, okay, cool. Let's see what you do here. So let's take a look. First up is Max Mercury. And, typically I don't need my characters, my figures to look in a certain artist style. But with him and Impulse, who desperately needs a new figure as well, I want them done in Humberto Ramos style, with the exaggerated features, the super long Sergeant Slaughter chin for Max, the mega feet for Impulse, an otherwise skinny body, big head, big fluffy hair. I love a 2-pack of them. But Max Mercury was an awesome mentor for, Impulse, for Bart, and their pairing, that whole dynamic was so much fun. And I'd love to get this figure. Hopefully he will not be using that new or the Rebirth Flash body, but just the basic Flashpoint one that works so well for Speedsters. So hopefully we'll get him on that. Love his costume. His color scheme is awesome. Then we'll just need a classic version of Impulse, one that's far better scaled with his mentor. So that's really exciting to see him. Then another figure on this list, and I try to match up the best images possible with a lot of these characters. This one I just could not find. It's the DC versus Vampires Shazam. Now, this is clearly not Billy Batson. This is Mary Marvel. But I couldn't find this. And I've read that whole deal, and I got kind of tapped out when they started doing more of the spin-offs. So I focused more on the main title. But I don't remember Shazam turning into a vampire. Now, we all know that this series is not so much about doing the figures exactly how they appeared in the comic book. It's more, here's a vampire version of the character. So I imagine Shazam will be more dramatic if he did appear in the comic, which I really don't remember. Anyway, so that's one. And again, when you're collecting McFarlane toys, there's going to be just some stuff you're not going to care about whatsoever, and I've accepted that. So the DC versus Vampire series is not for me, but I know from reading the comics that a lot of you are digging that. So there's another addition to the roster. One I am more excited about is Metallo. I feel like I was just mentioning him in the video about the Page Puncher Superman wave. So we're going to get Metallo, and there's so many different looks, so many different ways they can go with this. But I kind of like this version from the Superman Secret Origins, and Parasite would be awesome to see as well. But I like this because Metallo had a costume, and I feel like he's such an easy character to just go, hey, he's a Terminator with a kryptonite heart. But I actually like having him in a costume which has some detail, like that green mask looks really cool, that green helmet, and this iron or lead lined container. That's great because then you can open it up and have the kryptonite heart showing right there. I like this costume. The colors is like a walking Superman. Do not come anywhere near this guy. He's all about the kryptonite. And while we're at it, let's get a regular suit version of Lex Luthor holding kryptonite. So yeah, that's really exciting. I'm very happy to see that he's part of the club now. He's going to be joining the lineup, the roster of this. And another figure who I'm shocked to see in this, and one that I'm very excited to get as well, is Fire. Fire. We're getting B. And, no news on tour. So we don't know how long it's going to be before Ice, but I feel like McFarlane could actually do a great version of Fire. He's not afraid to have women with physiques with his female figures when he does do them. She's a really interesting one because I figured we would have gotten maybe Power Girl before her, or a really super classic Supergirl, Zatanna. We've got the J. Scott Campbell influenced or inspired statue. So none of her, no Black Canary just yet, but we got Fire. And I'll never complain about getting more members of the JLI. So that's very exciting and very curious as well to see what he's going to do. We're just going to get this outfit, which is her classic best costume, a couple of flame effects, or if he's going to go some weird route and go, hey, here's Fire in her all green look. I'm checking this. She's gold label, so that should mean she's going to skew classic. So that's an encouraging sign, and I'm really looking forward to her. And again, I talk so much like, come on, Ty, what are you doing? This is a great choice, and I'm very, very excited about this. All right, so here's one. And this one could be great. It could be kind of whack, but we'll see. It's Superman with the eagle, and this is the classic Superman number 14 cover. Don't know if we're going to get this super old school version. It's also listed as a gold/bronze label character. So I don't know if we're going to get this old school version. Maybe what we'll get instead is an updated one, like this Jorge Jimenez version. So you note the difference. No trunks. The Superman belt, modern belt, the cuffs that McFarlane basically uses on all his Superman figures, holding the eagle. That might be the one we get instead. But I guess there's still a likelihood that we could get super classic version Superman with this S. So that way we can still complain we don't have the true classic Superman that we want. But it does say gold/bronze on the listing, which kind of makes me think that maybe there's a chance this will have a chase where it's the Superman S is painted a little bit different. I don't know if he could manage a version with trunks, without trunks for that modern one, but that's not modern anyway. That's not bronze. That is like right now Superman. So hopefully it'll be a version that can be the definitive Superman figure, because while he's cranked out several versions of the Man of Steel, we don't have that one that's like, this is the perfect Superman. Right now, this is my default main Superman, the Action Comics version, and this is a really great Superman figure. It's missing the double jointed elbows, and it's got those annoying cuffs that I do not like. But otherwise, a really good Superman. no S shield on the back, but that's my Superman, my main one on display. That's the first one we got. I guess if you want to count the animated series version, but this is the first Superman. He needs to get dethroned now. It's time for a better, superior Superman to enter the chat, come through and be the one that's standing tall on my display. Next up is a figure I'm not even familiar with, or look for Red Hood I'm not familiar with. This is the Frostbite version. And this is the Bro Depot image, so I'm not even sure what this is from. He's got some katanas and he's got the hood coming up and down. I wouldn't mind this. It looks kind of cool, but I think we've gotten a lot of Red Hood figures when we still don't have like the. I feel like that's one that he could just re-release the old one that he did. And I think a lot of people would be happier to see that than all these different variations, the variants that we've seen over time. Next up is a Mega Fig. And this one I assume is going to be more classic because we've got an Arkham Asylum version. It's Killer Croc. And if we can get this version here with the, with the wraps and with the non-dinosaur looking head sculpt, I think I'd be really happy with that. And it's got the jeans. So this really looks like the Batman, the animated series version, inspired by the comic book. But this is how I want Killer Croc. And I think if we can get this in figure form, I'll be really excited about that. So hopefully that's the one we get. No telling how this thing goes because you always know it's a real crapshoot in terms of these setups here. Next up is one that I think is going to offer some possibilities. It's listed as having a chase, so that's a good sign for those of us who want to go either direction. It is the Manhunters. No man escapes them. And we've got super classic version of the Manhunters. I love this Who's Who entry image. Excuse me. It features one of the Manhunters fighting Batman, Green Lantern, and Superman. So yeah, if anytime you can get a bad guy, capable of fighting the Justice League, that's a winner. And I would really love if Todd could get this to a $19.99, $22.99 price point so I can really truly amass an army of Manhunters to really battle my Green Lantern Corps. And with his extra size on his figures, these could actually work pretty well against my DC Classics army of Green Lanterns that I've amassed over the years. So that would be really cool. But this one has a chase listed as well. So maybe we're not going to get that. Maybe we won't just get that version. Maybe we'll get the modern. I say modern, but this is from Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern, which was a couple days ago. But this is a nice redesign and one that I wouldn't be too upset to see in figure form either. And great design work. You still clearly, obviously see it's the Manhunter design. So if this is the chase, I would not be upset at all with that one. Next up on the list, it's so many figures. And again, I was just shocked that he cranked out so much stuff here. Let's see. I'm trying to not go totally out of order with these. There we go. Next up is the Sportsmaster. And this is a character who I think is really fun. And, now I've got somebody to go against my Alan Scott Green Lantern figure. So that's fun. We don't have a lot of JSA characters right now, but this is a good time to get a villain. So Sportsmaster is a great one. And of course, I feel like this design is not what we're going to see. This one's a little bit almost too simple. And I don't think that's terribly a bad thing because he had a redesign that I feel like people loved. And the first two seasons of Young Justice, really awesome. And this is a cool design. And I think this would be fine. I would not. That's probably one of the few cases where I'd go, you don't have to go classic. You can go with that version. That works just fine in this instance. He also has a chase. So maybe Todd will go do a solid for us and he'll give us that original JSA villain look and the more modern Young Justice era version of Sportsmaster. Either way would be cool. I think that would be really exciting though. And definitely one I'm like, whoa, nice job, Todd. Speaking of variants, got another potential right with this one because he also comes with a chase, which means we can get two separate characters, 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery shout out. We can get this one, Professor Zoom. That would be a great one. It's listed as Reverse Flash, so that probably means the main figure we'll see is this guy, and that would not be a problem whatsoever. I mean, we got Reverse Flash back when he started out using that really terrible body that I can't stand for Speedsters. This one off of the Flashpoint Flash is right there. All he has to do is change the head sculpt and repaint him. And that is the easiest layup in the world for Todd. Give him a smirk, give him an angry expression, but that figure is done. It's perfect. And we're all set. And that's all you got to do. But I would also happily take the Eobard version because this is from a really great Jeff Johns, Scott Collins run where Wally was fighting him. I think this is from a scene from the Blitz trade. So if you haven't read that, highly recommend it. But you can see how it's also pretty simple. A repaint of that Flashpoint Flash body. Just maybe if you need to sculpt it, a new sculpted head. You probably would need to sculpt that head to get those eye points properly done. But the rest is just repaint city. And this is a chase that could seem cheap and like, oh, man, you put the effort into it, but it'll be so appreciated and definitely a great addition to my collection. So lots of characters that have me very, very excited. And another one that hopefully he's found the ruler so he can get this scale properly this time. It's Tim Drake from Batman Detective Comics, the start of DC Rebirth. And man, I love this title. This was the best team book going when Rebirth started. Eventually Justice League would get on track and Teen Titans would get better, but Detective Comics had the best team dynamic of all those titles going on. This one in Suicide Squad. So it was like, we've got Teen Titans, we've got Titans, we've got Justice League, but Suicide Squad and Detective Comics were the best team books. And this look for Tim is not a huge departure from his Nightfall look. There are some changes, some subtle differences to it, but we get this look in figure form. I'm happy. Now, you have to imagine this without the scrapes and tears in the outfit, but you can see how cool and classic it looks, because of the Detective Comics Rebirth title for this figure. It's going to have this double R, but I don't care. I mean, I love this design. I thought it made a lot of sense for Tim, and this is from a really, really strong run, so I'd happily get this. This, of course, I think would help sell that Clayface, Batwoman, and Batman 3-pack that is somehow even cheaper than it was before. Let me see, the last time I looked at it, it was $49.99 for a 3-pack, which is kind of crazy and wild. So really fast, I was able to do that. Awesome. Quick work on the keyboards. $49.34. Sorry, don't want to shortchange that price. And for 3 figures, including a massive Clayface, that's an awesome deal. So if you've been on the fence, if you've been considering it, now there's another team member to add to this roster. So probably a really good time to jump on it and grab most of that team. So there you go. So that's one in Red Robin, Tim Drake's an awesome character, kind of done in by some bad writing, but there he is. Excited to see him. This is one character that's been leaked, revealed, announced a long time ago, but I don't think we've seen him yet. Cyborg Superman. And this is what the figure apparently is going to look like. And hey, this design, one a classic one, like the Mafex, I don't know how to pronounce it, version, but it's a Cyborg Superman look. I feel like this is well suited for a Page Punchers wave. That would have made a lot of sense, and I think people would have been fine with that. But we got a semi-classic Seal and semi-classic Superboy, and I don't know what he did with Eradicator, but I guess that makes sense for what he's done with Reign of the Superman looks. But there you go. There's Cyborg Superman. And then another character that has so many looks that I don't really know if he can go wrong with it if he skews mostly close to a comic book look. And that's Mr. Freeze. I think this design works really well for him. And, there are a lot of choices he can go with the design for him. And unless it goes too crazy, I think any will work. So Mr. Freeze should be a cool figure to add to the collection. So we're getting him. A lot of villains in this leaked list here. We've got Metallo, we've got Killer Croc, the Manhunters, Sportsmaster, Reverse Flash, Cyborg Superman, and Mr. Freeze. So a solid assortment of villains. That's not all though, but there's one who's I think a lot of you are going to be so hyped to see revealed and announced in this thing. So let's keep this party rolling. And there's so many figures, it's wild. Next up is a figure I don't see the need for, but he's coming regardless. It's Booster Gold in his Futures End look. And Futures End, I'm really surprised that this is something that McFarlane's tackling because I do not recall anybody going, yes, Futures End. I know we're getting a Batman figure that was announced, leaked earlier, but so here's another figure that can team up with him. But yeah, really odd and weird choice for Booster Gold, especially considering this one, the classic look. We're still waiting on Future Loss, if you want to call it that. But I mean, man, this is Booster Gold. We don't have this version with the Kanye West pop collar, the goggles that you can see his eyes through. Skis we do have, but I mean, this is Booster Gold. And that's the one that if Todd were to deliver on, I think would be a perfect one, especially since we've got Fire now on the line. We get two of those Justice League teammates, and if you want, we can throw Superman in that mix too, so we can have three of that team. And Blue Beetle, I think, kind of worked, so we got four of them. So we're getting there, but let's get a better version of Booster Gold, and not just because he's one of my favorite characters. Now, I mentioned we've got more characters announced, lined up. This one is a mega fig. It's probably going to be the mega fig of all mega figs. You got it. We got him finally. Classic Darkseid. It's mentioned, named as such. So there's no funny business here. There's so many different designs that they could go with for Darkseid. This is the one right here. No need to change up anything. Darkseid. You know, the big thigh high boots, no cape even, no overly complex paneling on that outfit. Just stick here, basic mega fig. So that means he's going to be about $40, but it's Darkseid. If anybody can be a mega fig, it's that guy. So very, very exciting to get one of the ultimate villains in the DC universe finally in his classic form in this line. Next up, we get a relative newcomer in a two-pack to probably help her sell. In this case, I don't mind Todd's mentality of female figures don't sell. I think this is a smart pack. I don't know if I want it because I think she's sort of a poser, but we're getting a Punchline and Joker two-pack. And Punchline is okay. I really felt like James Tynion the Fourth was trying a little bit too hard to get her over, and she didn't really kind of connect as organically as say Harley Quinn. And I don't even know what she's doing right now, but she's wandering around. Joker's doing his thing. I think in terms of two packs, that makes a lot of sense. We're really interested to see what kind of extras come with this set because, you know, they probably need to throw in a few more things. We've already seen the superpower variant of this, so we've got a good idea of how the mainstream figure is going to look. That is manga Batman. So he's coming to the line, and you know it's a Batman figure. Just gotta accept that we're gonna get way more Batman figures than we possibly could want. I feel like he's shown a little bit more restraint with this wave, but with this series of rollouts of figures. But there's a manga Batman for those of you who have been demanding that figure in 7-inch form. But we got another one that I am so excited and so hyped to see because he's an overdue one. One I was really surprised we didn't ever get to see in the DC Classics line, and that's Sergeant Rock. And DC releases Sergeant Rock versus Zombies arc not that long ago. It was so much fun. It was just Sergeant Rock obliterating a bunch of Nazis who were zombies. So it was awesome. It was great. And just a really, really cool mini series. A lot of fun. And Bruce Campbell wrote it, and Eduardo Rizzo drew it. Great stuff. Check it out if you have not. And Sergeant Rock's coming to the line. and hopefully we'll get the rest of Easy Company down the road. Next up, and since we've got a potentially definitive Superman, I don't mind this one. We're getting another one this time from the mega crossover, Our Worlds at War, one that I thought was actually pretty solid. We're getting Superman, and to get this version, unless we're going with a super Ed McGuinness version, I gotta assume we're gonna get that black S. So no yellow, no hope. He's dark. He's in mourning over the loss of Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And I don't think that's a bad variant in terms of Superman options go. Definitely something that will stand out on the shelf with all the multitude of Superman figures he's put out. And I'd be really interested to see if he does more Ed McGuinness style on this figure, because a big, bulky, no visible eyes Superman could be cool. I don't think I would mind seeing his take on that look for Superman. So we'll see if that's the direction he decides to go in with it. But the one that I think maybe of all these reveals, and I keep saying reveals, these leaked, escaped characters that we've got mentioned from Bro Depot, this is what I'm most excited about. It is the one and only Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. And this is listed in there is a DC Direct digital format. So I assume it's the same deal as we've seen from that awesome Silver Age Green Lantern and Aquaman. He's going to have the digital figure. Maybe we'll get a Build-A-Figure to collect and connect, but we're going to get a classic era Green Arrow, and that's awesome. I am so excited about that one. Definitely one on my top 5, top 10 list for sure. But yeah, he's finally coming. He's finally coming to the line, so that's great news for all of us DC fans. No more delay. We're getting him, and since we're getting him, why not go to another Silver Age character, one of his teammates? Talking about the Atom. Again, he's listed as Silver Age Ray Palmer, so there should be no mistaking, no Ryan Choi, no Al Pratt version. We're getting Ray Palmer in classic outfit. Clearly, he has to come with a smaller size Atom. I'd love if that figure had some articulation. I always feel like that's the problem with Atom figures. They're just static, one pose, and you can't do anything with them. Just being able to move the head, the arms, the shoulders, maybe the waist and the knees and legs. That'd be great. So hopefully you can figure out a way to make that work. And I'm very excited to get those two Justice League stalwarts. So now I can't complain as much as I have been, because we've got two classic members of the JLA finally done. Green Arrow, the Atom. We're getting a mega fig of Darkseid. That's not all. Still more figures coming in this. And this is sort of team building. I don't mind this one because we've sort of got some of these characters already. We're getting Connor Kent from his Teen Titans days, which means black t-shirt, red Superman logo. Maybe this Impulse would work a little bit better with him, but we still need cast. We need a better Tim Drake Robin. So I'm excited about getting him. I think that's a great look for Connor. So very exciting to grab those guys. And then there were just a bunch of other characters that there's so much stuff that I just did not track down photos for. So bear with me. We're getting more of those the new Adventures of Batman, the cartoon from DC Direct. We're getting another version of Joker, Nightwing, Catwoman, and Bane coming. We're also getting a Batman Beyond 25th anniversary Bruce Wayne with Ace the Bat Hound. That's listed as a gold label San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So take that as you will. It'll probably be available on McFarlane Toy stores. Then for the DC Retro 6-inch line, more Batman 66 figures coming. Nightwing from the comic book Batman 66. The Space Batman, Wax Robin, Bookworm, that's kind of fun, and another Alfred. So good news for everybody collecting that line. More DC Multiverse 7-inch scale vehicles, the White Knight Batmobile, and the retro 6-inch Batman 66 Batmobile with Joker figure. So that's very fun and cool as well. More superpowers are coming. Very great and fun additions to this line. We're getting a 3-pack with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, black and white with accents. Don't really understand what that is, but we're getting those. Another multi-pack. We're getting Batman with a black suit, the whirly bat wing. Interesting choice as well. We're getting a Fleischer variant with a normal Superman, a Black Mana, Batman from the Dark Knight Returns, Guy Gardner, Metamorpho, and Booster Gold. So interesting choices there. And then two 12-inch statues. One are both of these designed by Jim Lee, Superman, and the Flash. So a ton of DC Multiverse news, potential figures. Most likely we're going to see. Very exciting. Like I mentioned, Green Arrow, the Ray, Fire, Darkseid, Reverse Flash. Really have me excited. I can't wait to see how they're executed. Which figures are you most excited about from this leak list? And which ones are you hoping to still see from Todd and his McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line? As always, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. This episode of Louse Figure Files has been filed.